What you doing, Otaku? I'm the AC, and I'm going to talk about the new anime movie called A Whisker Away, or in Japanese, Nakitai Watashi wa Neko a Kaburu. Now, it came out on Netflix on June 18th, so yeah, I guess it's another Netflix original, Netflix exclusive movie. Don't know the whole deal about it, but it is an interesting thing that it is finally only in Japanese with English subtitles, because they put next to the Japanese English delayed. Didn't know what that meant until I looked more into it. So this movie was a little weird for me. Most of the time going through it, I was like, what? Okay. And the reason that is because I didn't read the description for the movie. I still haven't. I meant to do it before I started this recording. Oh well. I didn't read the description, I only watched the trailer. And from what I picked up from the trailer, this movie is the opposite of what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be about a boy that found a cat, and then he grows attached to the cat, and then the cat grows attached to him, and then the cat eventually wants to be human so she can be with him. Kind of. But before I get into the spoilery stuff, let me just tell you what it's about. It's about this girl named Mia, who people call Muge. And she can turn into a cat, and to get close to this boy, Hinode. And it's pretty much goes on from there. That's pretty much it. And like I said, it just was a lot of, okay, yeah, because of my own confusion. But it's not a bad movie at all. Like, it's not anything too intense. It's just a nice little movie. There's a little weirdness to it, just a splash. But what I was expecting was something more along the lines of like, my roommate is a cat. That anime is one of my favorite animes of all time, and the more I think about it and watch it, the higher up my list it goes, and it's just great. And I thought this would be something like that, with a little, supernatural twist at the end. The supernatural starts right at the beginning. So let's go through what actually happens in the movie. So I don't know what I actually call. I'm gonna call her Mia or movie. I don't know. I'm gonna call her Mia. I like Mia better as a name, and I don't really like her nickname. So Mia, as a kid, after some drama with her mom, she goes and finds Jabba the cat. Hate the reference. I'm not a Star Wars fan, but first time I see him, that's what he reminds me of. Is Jabba the cat, and he sells masks, and then the story actually begins. I thought, okay, whatever, that's a little story. Then it takes me a while to realize this girl's actually the main character, and I would still argue she's not actually the main character, or not. Maybe it could be shared, because even though it starts off with a little bit of drama with her, it doesn't really carry over that much. Or if it does, it seems like she thinks more of it as a big deal than the rest of the family does, or she doesn't think of it as all. It's a little confusing, because she's mainly obsessed with just this boy and her Hinode. And she gets this cat mask from, I don't even remember if they actually ever say his name. I think he just calls him mask seller. I'm going to call it Jabba the cat. So he gets a mask from Jabba the cat. She knows what it does right away. She knows it turns her into a cat. And she's been using this since she got it right away to get close to him, Hinode. It's creepy. It's a little creepy, actually. It's not cute at all. It's like, okay, if you only looked at it from Hinode's point of view, like I thought the movie would be, you'd be like, oh, that's cute, he just really likes his cat. And then, no, she knows she's a cat. She goes to be with him and then she leaves. And this whole time while she's doing this, she has a stepmom who's like actually really caring towards her. And I don't know, it's weird. It was really weird at the beginning. And just the way she acts, she kind of acts more cat-like, which I get why they do that. I don't know how she acted before she got the cat mask, so there's not really anything to judge it on. But, you know, she's kind of wild. She kind of just seems very outgoing and says whatever she wants and does whatever she wants. But then it's the whole idea of, like, she knows what she's doing this entire time. It's just weird. It's just a little creepy. And, of course, it's deceiving. But yeah, the whole point of Jabba the Cat is he sells cat masks to humans, and he sells human masks to cats. I don't know exactly how that works, or where the profit comes up so far. But, yeah, I don't really know why. And eventually, what happens is the person turns into a cat and stays like that, and then their face becomes masked, and that's what happens to her. After a whole bunch of stuff, you know, Hinode seems to take a liking to Muge. I guess I'm just going to keep calling her that. And she tries to confess her feelings. It doesn't really go well, and then she finally becomes a cat. Her face becomes a mask, and of course she has to disappear for a little bit. And then everyone gets worried. At first it was a little bit like A Wonderful Life, but with her seeing how much people actually care about her as a cat, and it's not really what, you know, a little sense of that. But then, during her disappearance as a cat, you get to see the moms have a cat fight because her real mom abandoned her. The stepmom wants to take care of her, but then it's not her real daughter. There's a whole lot of drama that happens without her actually being involved, even though it's about her. And I think that is some of the more interesting stuff that they barely touch on. I have no interest in her being a cat anymore at this point. If anything, I have more about what's going on in Hinode's life. Apparently, his family owns some pottery studio. His grandpa can't really do it anymore. I don't know. No, my voice is getting out. So they're going to shut down the studio. A guy that he works with has to quit. His sister has a crush on him, which later becomes a little funny. And then it just goes on from there. His whole story is more interesting than Muge's. And yeah, everyone becomes worried when she kind of disappears for about 3 days, when suddenly she's back. This is where it starts to get interesting. Her coming back is when I actually was like, oh, intriguing. So, I didn't mention it before, but her stepmom and dad have a house cat named Kinako. Apparently, Kinako is the one that got Muge's mask, so she can turn into her now. And the whole reason for this is actually even more sweet. Kinako became a cat, or Kinako as a cat became Muge because she was an old cat. She knew she was going to die soon, but she wanted to make her owner, Kura, the stepmom, she wanted to make sure she could still be happy. And she saw how Muge was kind of treating the stepmom and wasn't really that interested. Her whole thing was like, okay, she'll become her and she can have a longer life and keep her happy. And it was really sweet. But then she realizes, like, she still cares about her cat. She still cares about Kinako being a cat. And at first I was like, okay, the daughter disappears, then the cat disappears, nobody cares about the cat. And then eventually Kinako sees the missing posters. She sees Kura being worried and looking for her, and then she's like, she realized she made a mistake almost faster than Muge realizes she made a mistake. So then she wants to turn back into a cat and give Muge her face back, but Muge goes to some bridge following Jabba the Cat, and so I don't really know. It gets weird again, but whatever. Kinako goes to Hinode and reveals everything to him. And this is one of the more disappointing points of the movie. There's no reaction. He realizes this little cat who he's been calling Taro and has been loving has actually been this girl who he also kind of crushes on and really likes. There's just no reaction. He just accepts it. And he's like, okay. And then they go to this place called Cat Island, where Muge followed Jabba the Cat to, and it's just this big city, I guess, of cat people. There's a lot of bars and restaurants or whatever. Kinako takes Hinode to get a cat mask, I guess, so he could see what was going on. He only gets cat paws, and then it goes on from there. It goes with them trying to find each other so they can turn her back into a human. And it's kind of typical, whatever. She meets more cat people who also took the same deal, and it finally reveals that the cat seller, Jabba the Cat, is doing this to take the lifespan difference between a cat and a human, I guess, to add to his own. He wasn't exactly clear about it. And of course, everything eventually works out. Like I said, the movie wasn't bad. There was just a lot of stuff I was like, okay, I'll accept that. But yeah, I don't know, it's something worth watching, if anything. I feel like there's a lot of stuff they just didn't completely make clear that could have been like solidified a little bit more. And then in the end, my favorite part was the end, not the end of the movie, but the credit scenes. The credit scenes were the cutest and more humorous part of the movie. Like I mentioned with Hinode's sister crushing on the guy that was working in the studio. She goes to him and he's been engaged this whole time. This is a cute little silent subtitled scenes going on during the credits. It's nice. And then there's the cute between Muge's friend and Hinode's friend. I forgot their names. And they kind of have a little thing, a little spark. So there's a lot of cuteness in the credit scenes. I enjoyed it. But yeah, it's kind of just okay kind of movie. But what do you think? Have you watched the movie yet? A Whisker Away on Netflix? Go ahead and let me know in the comments if you have. But if you like what I have to say about it, go ahead and like this video. If you want to see me talk more about anime, movies, shows, whatever they may be, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. You can see when I do all that. But until next time, I'm DAC. Thank you for watching, and bye.